Welcome into the Commanders Report. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Today was the first day of Commanders mandatory minicamp. I got the latest updates for you right here on the Commanders Report. Before we get into it today, make sure you guys click that subscribe button because this was just day one of mandatory minicamp. We're going to have minicamp coverage for you guys all throughout the week, as well as winners and losers at the end of the week. We also have breaking news coverage. We're going to be talking a little bit about Trey Hendrickson today as well. If a trade happens for him, we'll have breaking news coverage for you guys. It's all 100% free for you guys right here on the Commanders Report. So make sure you join our family today of over 41,000 Commanders fans that have already clicked that subscribe button by joining our family this afternoon. All right, so let's get into the big story of the day, and it broke this morning, and, everyone's talking about it. Scary Terry McLaurin is not at Commanders mandatory minicamp, and he's not expected to be there unless they come to terms on a new contract extension. Now, my message to Commanders fans, if you've been watching this channel regularly, you guys know what I'm going to say here. Do not worry about this, okay? I do not want you guys to worry that Terry McLaurin's going to get traded or that he's not going to be playing on the Commanders this year. This is just part of the offseason process for a top-end player like Terry McLaurin who knows he has the leverage to get the money that he believes that he is worth. And you look at the numbers throughout his career, he is definitely worth that kind of money. Even though he is approaching 30 years old, he has put up over 1,000 yards in each of the last 5 seasons. He's got just coming off a 13-touchdown campaign with Jaden Daniels throwing him the football. And the Commanders know that they need him to win this year. So I want Commanders fans out there to rest easy because I want you guys to know that the Commanders are going to prioritize keeping Terry McLaurin. They're not going to trade him away. That's not going to happen. He will be a Washington Commander in 2025, or at least I think, unless something completely crazy happens, or maybe they trade McLaurin and somehow they can get like Brandon Ayuk in exchange from the 49ers. Maybe that's a possibility. But really, guys, I'm 99.9% sure that Terry McLaurin will be back with this football team. And a player as good as Terry it's definitely not required for him to be at mandatory minicamp. He can show up to training camp and he can still be just the same old scary Terry McLaurin we all know and love. So let me know down there in the comments section, what is your concern level for scary Terry McLaurin missing mandatory minicamp this year? Put it on a scale of 1 to 10 for me down there in the comments section. 1 being not worried at all. I'm probably at a 1 right now, just to be honest with you guys, or a 10, all the way to 10. Being I am absolutely panicking. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time. But let me know your concern level for Scary Terry missing minicamp. Speaking of another star player that has some pertinence here to the Washington Commanders missing mandatory minicamp around the National Football League, Trey Hendrickson, the superstar edge rusher, the NFL's sack leader in 2024, was not at Bengals minicamp this year or today, and apparently it is not going well, the negotiations between Trey Hendrickson and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are even having a tough time getting their first-round pick, Shamar Stewart, from Texas A&M, an edge rusher as well, by the way, under contract. And, the Bengals are certainly an organization that is known as kind of a stingy, kind of almost cheap organization, and according to Hendrickson, they have not really engaged him much this offseason in terms of upping their offer. Diana Rossini broke the news today saying Trey Hendrickson will not attend Bengals minicamp per source. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Cincinnati reached out to Hendrickson's camp yesterday, but there was no movement towards a new deal for the All-Pro. So essentially, after cutting Jermaine Pratt, saving them over $5 million in cap space for this season, the Bengals called Trey Hendrickson and his representation saying, hey, can we get a deal done? And Hendrickson pretty much slammed the phone down saying no deal. So if you're a Commanders fan, that is good news, all right? And I do think that Trey Hendrickson's situation is a little bit more dire than Terry McLaurin's situation. I think with Terry, the Commanders know that they need him. And I think that, nothing has really happened to this point where Terry doesn't want to play for the football team or is sick and tired of the Commanders' antics or anything like that. I do think he's trying to apply pressure, and he does want negotiations to continue. But I think that is a situation that's going to end in McLaurin getting a contract extension. However, with Trey Hendrickson, I'm not sure if the Bengals can really afford to pay him, especially the money that he wants, okay? Like, you look at that organization, they paid Joe Burrow last offseason. They paid both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, their wide receiver duo, this offseason, and there's just not going to be a whole lot of money to go around in future seasons for the Cincinnati Bengals if they decide to pay him. And listen, man, Trey Hendrickson probably deserves to be paid in that $35 million range that Danielle Hunter and Maxx Crosby got paid this offseason. I think that's more than fair. If he was asking for 36, 37, Hendrickson has said that he's not asking to be the highest paid edge rusher in football, so he's not asking for $40 million. My guess is the Bengals are probably offering somewhere in kind of the low $30 million range, and he doesn't want to take that. He wants the mid $30 million range, and I think that's perfectly fair for Hendrickson to ask for that. And because of all this turmoil happening in Cincinnati right now, guys, I still believe that a Trey Hendrickson trade could still happen this summer. In fact, out of the superstar players that a lot of people are talking about missing mandatory minicamp, Hendrickson might be the most likely guy to get dealt out of guys like T.J. Watt, Terry McLaurin, and of course Trey Hendrickson. I think Hendrickson is probably the most likely to get dealt, and it could be to the Washington Commanders because, as we know, as fans of this franchise, they need another edge rusher, all right? Like, obviously, the Commanders' defense and Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr., they like to do a lot of stunts in games, and they like to generate pressure in other ways outside of just one-on-one dominance from their edge rushers, all right? They like to get creative with that stuff, but adding a guy like Trey Hendrickson and having that element of just straight-up dominance at your number one edge rusher position is something that this team is lacking and something that could really be added to this defense heading into the second year of the Dan Quinn era here in Washington. In terms of a trade, what it would look like in terms of the compensation, I've been kind of floating this idea out there for the last several weeks where the Commanders and the Bengals would pretty much swap early round picks. So the Bengals would get the Commanders' first round pick with the way that we're expecting this season to go for Washington. It's probably going to be a late first round pick. And then the Commanders would get the Bengals' second round pick. So you still have the same amount of picks. The Commanders only have 5 picks in next year's draft, so they probably don't want to straight up give one to the Bengals, but a pick swap here allows the Commanders to get Hendrickson without losing any additional draft picks in 2026. The Bengals can also walk away with a mid-round pick in 2027 and Dorance Armstrong. If you're getting Trey Hendrickson, I'm fine with Cleveland Ferrell and Jacob Martin and Dietrich Wise being the other edge rushers on this football team. So let me know what you guys think. Down there in the comments section, would you accept this trade if you were the Washington Commanders? Type A for accept or D for decline. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at Fanatics. And while we're talking about Fanatics today, give me an A or a D down there in the comments. And with that, if you guys want a Jaden Daniels jersey in your closet today, today's the day you can make that happen. Go to chatsports.com/Daniels. That link is in the comments and description of today's show, and it's our special link where if you guys click that link and you make a purchase, Fanatics sends us here at the Commanders Report part of the proceeds. So not only do you get a Jaden Daniels jersey, but you're also pretty much sending a donation to our channel for all the hard work that we bring in here to this channel to give you guys the best damn Commanders coverage money can buy 100% free. So if you want to help us out and you want to help yourself out, you were already planning on getting a Jaden Daniels jersey, this is a great opportunity to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Go to chatsports.com/Daniels to make it happen. Some other news from day one of Commanders mandatory minicamp. Bobby Wagner was also not at camp today for personal reasons. Dan Quinn, the head coach, did say that he is expected back tomorrow. So that's nothing serious, but something to keep your eye on. Then there is a narrative going around on Commanders and just NFL social media in general. There's a clip going around of Trey Amos absolutely locking up Deebo Samuel on a route. And people are taking that and saying, oh, Deebo Samuel is so bad, and he's getting locked up by a rookie corner. How embarrassing. Now, I think that this is completely conjecture. Obviously, this happens every single offseason where people see one clip and they completely overreact to it. Now, I will say, and we talked about this in our OTA winners and losers video last week, if you want to check that out, but Trey Amos, the rookie out of Ole Miss, is playing really, really well. And, has he locked up Deebo Samuel, a couple of times during these team periods? Absolutely. He is long. He is physical. He is a very, very talented player with a lot of ability bringing into this Commanders defense year one, and I expect him to be a legitimate NFL starter. So the fact that he is doing well against a guy like Deebo Samuel is absolutely good news for Washington Commanders fans. And then when it comes to Deebo Samuel, people are overreacting to this and saying, oh, he sucks, and the Commanders overpaid for him, which I think is impossible because you only gave up a 5th-round pick for him. But he's not a route running specialist. That's just not really what he does. So if he's getting locked up by a good player in Trey Amos, that's not necessarily all that concerning to me. Deebo's going to be that freight train that, gadget piece that's moving around the formation, orbit motions, jet sweeps, wide receiver screens. He's not really going to be the route running technician that a lot of receivers around the league are, and that's okay. He has his role in Cliff Kingsbury's offense. I think he's going to operate that role extremely well. So I would say stay away from some of those narratives that you see on social media. But somebody, a receiver that's actually had a really good day today and caught multiple touchdowns during the team periods, was Luke McCaffrey. Now, this is good news because Luke actually made my losers list of OTAs, and that was because, guys like Jalen Lane and other receivers were playing particularly well, and that kind of didn't, shine a great light on Luke McCaffrey. But apparently he was listening to me because he caught multiple touchdowns today. Apparently he caught 3 touchdowns during the team periods. Some really good stuff from Luke McCaffrey, so kudos to 12. And then you get to this guy here, man, Tyler Owens. We've been talking a lot about the open bandit position that is up for grabs during this offseason program heading into training camp. I mean, Tyler Owens standing next to a Commanders coach here. I mean, goodness gracious. He looks like he just looks like a monster out there with the visor. I mean, look at the pythons on him, paws. I mean, goodness gracious. Like, this guy, by the way, he had a perfect 10 out of 10 relative athletic score, so he can move too. So if you're looking for that Jeremy Chin replacement as kind of that bandit safety in the 3 safety packages that Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. like to deploy in this defensive scheme, Tyler Owens is making an early impression with the physique that he is bringing to the table. And then a kind of little final funny moment here. I need a T-shirt of this photo here, man. Jaden Daniels and Mike Samerstroll, obviously really good friends on the team. They posed for Commanders Media Day in the Step Brothers pose. Just look at Samerstroll's face, dude. It's just completely blank. It's so good. I love this duo, man. And I need to get a T-shirt of this photo, plain and simply. All right, that'll be it for today's edition of the Commanders Report. Today was just day 1 of our coverage of mandatory minicamp. We got more for you guys tomorrow, so if you don't want to miss that, click that subscribe button. And until tomorrow, guys, hail to the Commanders.